Alright, so hi,
Landscape.
it's me again, in case you're wondering. Okay, so this is another memory oracle video, and I think it might be the last one, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I think it's time, you know? Okay, yeah, but seriously, the only person left to do is Roger, so it probably will be the last video, unless I break it up
Screen
into two
dimmed.
chapters, but I don't think I will. So, yeah, more than likely this will be the last video because I've decided that I'm not going to do Elise or, what's his name? Ezra. So, yeah, but I guess we'll just start into it and see what happens, but, yeah, thanks. Okay, so we'll just go down to Roger. I think he's like a bit down.
Open Riley. But
So-
open Roger. Button.
Oh, well, go me. Okay,
Opens
so,
the card. Time crest. Close. Roger Mendenhall memory large icon. Image.
okay, so
Roger Mendenhall.
let's just see what the chapter names are and then we will start.
Chapter 1. Determination.
Oh my god, like the song. What's the song called? Like the one that plays when Ash is like kind of sad sometimes. Determination as well, I think.
Chapter 2. Ambition.
Okay.
Read
And yeah,
ambition.
that is the
Button.
last chapter, so we'll definitely probably get the two of these done, although as far as I can remember they are kind of long, so we'll see. I haven't actually read these in ages either, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Okay, so
Read determination. Button.
yeah, let's just start.
Read System message. Roger Mendenhall. Determination. Chapter 1 of 2. Year. 1008 MG.
Okay, so this was like, wait, 9, 10, 11, this was like 6 years ago, I think. So not like that far in the past, because some of the other memories have been. Well, I guess Riley's wasn't, and that was like the only year that we actually saw, but I'm quite sure some of the
Screen dimmed.
others were in later years, so yeah, I don't know. Okay, sorry about that, I accidentally got cut off, but anyway, okay, we're just gonna start, because I feel like I've been rambling a lot, so okay, sorry, okay.
Group. The reason we were born can't be just to feel pain. Roger thought as the passers-by ignored the audible growling of his stomach and that of his twin brother, Alan, and childhood friend, Sarah. As the three begged on the dusty streets of Winsohal, the Sand Kingdom, Roger caught Sarah in his arms as she broke into a fit of coughing, unable to stand.
Oh guys,
Alan
no.
clutched onto the clothes of a man who wore a shimmering cloak, the most expensive cloak in those parts, only to be shoved to the ground by the man, a man with a lot to spare. We are not meant to be the dirt on the bottom of the shoes of men like this, Roger thought. I will save us. He let Sarah lean on him as he plopped onto the ground and took out the
Wait,
water.
but I thought they were like, I thought like Roger was the prince or something. I don't know.
He let Sarah lean on him as he plopped onto the ground and took out the water tome buried at the bottom of his pouch. Alan rolled his eyes when he saw Roger pull out the tome. I thought you gave that up when we agreed you would stop wasting time, brother, he said. Alan twirled around in circles and waved at the next group of people walking by, expending the little remaining energy he had to attract attention away from other beggars. Ignoring him, Roger began reading. It was one of the few worldly possessions he owned. When he had tried to steal it, the Thomaseller just laughed and gave it to him for free, happy to be rid of a worthless item. Everyone
I assume that's actually Tom Seller and not whatever voiceover said, but yeah.
Everyone believed that water magic was impossible to use in this impossibly dry environment. Roger swallowed hard. His throat was parched and his stomach growled. He looked up at the sky, not a single cloud. As usual, there was never any escape from the pounding heat of the sun. He came across a
God, I'd hate that. I always think like that I love the sun until it comes and then I'm literally always so hot, so
He came across a passage where Indra Frost described a time from before the meteors were frozen. Would nighttime cool down even the Sand Kingdom? Roger thought. Would people be able to see at night? Or would it be dark as the shadows cast by buildings? I can't tell your lost and useless fantasies again, Alan said, as he placed the small coin he had just earned from the group he entertained into a secret pocket when he was sure the other beggars weren't looking.
I mean, at least they got one coin, but that's probably not enough.
Sarah needs a healer, and I'm sure your stomach feels like mine, as though it's gnawing on itself from the inside. Children like us don't have time for fantasies. The sun stung his eyes, and Roger squeezed them shut. He willed his eyes to get wet. Even if it's just tears. Please let me produce some water, Roger thought. You can do it, Roger, Sarah said, her voice small and meek. I believe in you. Just believe in yourself. Roger closed his eyes and listened to Sarah's shallow breathing. Our lives are not meant to be filled with only pain, he thought. Just focus. Like Indra wrote, just focus. Another growl from his stomach. Just focus. Are you just going to sit there? Alan said, dreaming that we're kings and she a queen with our bellies full of meat and servants at our beck and call, and ignore reality? We're deathly starved, and Sarah is ill. His voice quivered. Maybe when we die, brother, maybe we'll go.
Also, I thought that like Alan and Roger like weren't friends. I thought Alan hated Roger or something, but clearly not either.
Maybe when we die, brother, maybe we'll go to a better place. But right now you need to focus on what is right in front of us. We need food and a healer. I want to give Alan and Sarah a better life now, while you're still alive. Who cares about the next life when everyone I care about is hurt in this one? Just focus. Minutes passed before Roger finally opened his eyes and raised his palm. Aquatos, Roger said. After a few long moments, a stream of water shot out of the palm of his hand and into the street.
Yes, Roger! Yes!
Alan's mouth dropped open. Sarah raised her hand, covering her mouth. Some people passing by froze and looked at the ground, muddied by the water. Did you do that, brother? Alan whispered. Did I? Roger thought. He looked at his palm. It was glistening. He raised it to his mouth and touched his dry lips. It was wet. Maybe. There's a chance. It wasn't another fantasy, he thought. A crowd gathered around Roger's group. They were looking at Roger with the same skepticism he was looking at his own palm with. Other beggars, along with some animals, had already begun to lick the drying puddle on the ground. Hey kid, can you do that again? Someone from the crowd called out. More and more people soon joined in. As the crowd continued to plead for another aquatos to happen, Roger looked at Alan. When he caught his brother's gaze, Alan lowered his and began to bite his nails. Roger found himself hiding his palm behind his back and looking down at his toe. If I try again and nothing happens, he thought as he bit down hard on his lower lip. Then, Roger felt
I swear that's always the way. You can do it one time and then the second time you try when people are watching it just never works. And I'm sure it will.
Roger felt Sarah's head lift from his shoulders. He turned to see her smiling at him. Remember when we met, Roger? She asked before breaking down into another fit of coughing. Roger nodded, understanding. He signaled to Alan to help support Sarah while he got up. The crowd quieted down as Roger glanced over them. He took a deep breath and raised his palm. He stared for a few moments at the back of his hand, trying to calm his beating heart. Aquatos. 1 second passed. If I succeed now, then I can take care of Alan and Sarah and buy us all the happiness we desire, Roger thought. 2, 3 still no water. Did it come out instantly the first time? Or did it take a while? 2, 4 if I fail, then I'll kill myself. 5, 6 how long have I been standing here? I can't stop my hand from shaking. 7 did it get hotter? 8 I can't feel my heart pounding. I can't breathe. 9 is this what drowning without water feels like? 10 I can't breathe. Another stream of water shot out of Roger's palm. He gasped for...
Oh my god, that would be like the scariest 10 seconds ever, but yes, Roger.
He gasped for air and felt life-flated. We're saved, someone from the crowd exclaimed. Our savior has come in the form of this young child. There was another moment of silence followed by a loud roar of cheering from the crowd. Some even knelt at Roger's feet and kissed them. The first and only water made of our Sant Kingdom. I never thought I'd see one with my own eyes here in Winsoho, were the words murmured by this crowd. One of Roger's new worshippers bowed deeply and offered him a gold coin. Roger snatched it up like a hungry animal. He turned to Alan and placed the coin in his hand. Do you know what this means? Tonight, we'll be able to get a roof over our heads and some food. Sarah might get better if we can get her out of the heat and dust and onto a bed. Oh, what do you think it'll be like to sleep in a bed? I can't remember what that feels like. Alan looked up at Roger. He said, Roger, I. Before he could finish, Roger hugged his brother close to him.
Aww.
A woman from the crowd held up a container to Roger. He looked at it and then to the woman, who looked at him pleadingly as she offered a handful of gold pieces. It was far less than what the kingdom charged for a small cup of water, and her container was much larger, but Roger could not remember ever being near this much gold. He filled her container and turned the single coin in Alan's hand into a handful. More and more people now held out their cups, containers, jars, whatever they had that could carry water, as well as their money. No one wanted to miss their chance at benefiting from this miracle. But before he filled any, Roger asked to borrow a few cups and the beguiled spectators immediately complied. Roger filled them with water, handing them to Alan and Sarah before gulping down one of his own. Everything is going to be okay, Roger said. We have enough coins to take Sarah to a healer and more than enough to start thinking about what we want to eat. Alan, how about some bread? Roger laughed. Is that all you can think of? Bread is too dry for my tastes. But it's cheap and it'll fill us up in no time. Alan said. You need to think bigger now. Roger looked at all of the offerings of gold from the crowd. He didn't need to think long before he said, I want to try sapphire dwarfkin milk. Alan's eyes widened. But a single cup is 2,400 gold, he said. What good is having all this gold if we can't enjoy it? Roger said. Besides,
That is so expensive. Can I just say, for a cup of milk, 2,400 gold? I mean, it'd better be really, really nice milk.
Besides, you'll soon see that we'll be able to afford as much dwarfkin milk as we want. Sure enough, the trio soon found their patch and any pockets they had filled with gold pieces after more Aquatos spells left Roger's palm. Gold is heavier than I imagined, brother, Alan said, continuing to shove pieces into his pockets until they bulged like the stomachs of the rich, fat men who wore shimmering cloaks. Another call from Sarah and Alan hoisted her on his back and the brothers walked toward the nearest healer. As they waited for Sarah's treatment, Roger left to buy some dwarfkin milk. Roger had invited Alan to come, but he refused, saying it would be better to wait on Sarah. But Roger knew it was because Alan wanted his pockets to remain rich on fat. A short while later, Roger returned with 2 ornate cups. He handed one to Alan, who ran his fingers over the fancy beveled edge of the cup. Roger sat down beside Alan on the bench inside the healer's room and lifted the lid off his cup. An icy foam came pouring out of the cup filled to the brim with a semi-opaque, blue liquid. Roger gulped
Wow.
down his milk. Ah, a satisfied grunt escaped Roger as he smacked his lips while the refreshing liquid coated his throat. They weren't lying when they said the stuff cooled you down. This is the coldest I've ever felt in Windsor Howland. It's amazing. Alan, this is the coldest I've ever... What do you think? What do you think? He blinked a few times when he saw his brother's cup was still full and Alan was placing the lid back on. I just took a sip, but I want to save the rest. Alan answered the question before Roger could ask. Sapphire Dwarfkin milk doesn't go bad, so I can't keep sipping it for days. He paused for a bit before saying, it seems wasteful to drink this after we all had water today. So what?
I mean, fair enough, especially if it costs 2,400. Like, I'd probably want to save it as well.
So what? Roger said. Just enjoy it. We can't get more where that came from. He touched Alan's shoulder and added, come on. To celebrate. Alan sighed and licked his lips. It had taken every ounce of good sense he had to not take another sip after his first. But after Roger's words, he downed the whole cup and looked at Roger with glee. Holy Muffy, brother, he said as he touched his throat. The inside of my throat feels as cool as Alan was at a loss for words, as there was hardly anything cool in the Sand Kingdom. As the windy tunnels underneath Howling Pass, Roger and Alan both broke out laughing. The tunnels were nowhere near as cool as the liquid they had just consumed, but it was the best comparison they could come up with. Alan shook his head. Are we dreaming, brother? I want to pinch myself, but I'm afraid I'll wake up. This is no fantasy, Roger said. He let out a sigh and leaned against the wall and smiled. It's real. I did what no mage could today. Roger closed his eyes and heard the chant of the crowd that surrounded him today. Many hailed Roger as a prodigy. Many called him a savior, a hero. Many said he produced the best water they ever tasted. You're going to become the master of water, brother, Alan said. I know you can do it. Roger opened his eyes. I didn't think about that, Roger said as he scratched his head. All I know is one simple spell. But when he looked at Sarah, as she walked over to them, her gait no longer wobbly, her colour restored, Roger couldn't help the thought. I am going to become the master of water. System message, end of chapter. Vertical scroll bar, close, button.
Okay, wow, that was a very... I did not expect, like, a lot of that. Like, oh my god. Okay, so Roger cast the Aquatis spell, but I thought Alan could cast Aquatis as well. Like, isn't he a water mage? Wasn't that in the playthroughs he could do that? I don't know. I guess we'll maybe it'll be revealed in the next chapter. I don't know. I'm a bit confused, but obviously I'm like happy for Roger and Alan and Sarah because you know, like, it's a big change for them and all that. Okay, I'm gonna go on to chapter 2 because I don't think this has been too long. So
close.
yeah.
Roger
And I
mended
can kind of understand why it's called determination, by the way, because they're like determined to survive.
Read
and
chapter
all.
2. Read ambition.
Okay.
Button. Read System message. Roger Mendenhall.
Is it still
Ambition.
the same year?
Chapter 2 of 2. Year 1008 MG.
Okay, yeah, it is.
Your hair so shiny, like a prince. Savior Roger, a little girl said as Roger sat in the middle of a huge group of people.
Oh,
Weeks had-
well, that's nice.
Weeks had passed since he had learned Arquatus and Roger took the little girl's words to be truth itself. No one thought I could do it, but I sure showed them wrong, didn't I? Roger said. He started laughing, and everyone else joined in. I'm enjoying my conversations with everyone here, Roger said. Free water on me today. The group cheered Roger's name. Roger thought he heard his brother sigh, but dismissed the thought. There couldn't be any reason for Alan to be unhappy now. Can I talk to you, brother? Alan said. Not now, Alan, Roger said. I'm talking to my followers. Sarah lightly touched him on his
To
arm.
my followers.
Roger blinked a few times before saying, okay, let's talk, Alan. After the trio found a quiet spot in the alleyway, Roger said, did you two see it? All those people are dangling on my every word. Well, they should be. I'm going to become their master of water soon and I will make it rain in Windsor. Alan wanted to talk to you, Roger. Sarah said, can you listen to him? Oh right, Roger said as he scratched his head. Don't you think we're exposing ourselves too much, brother? Alan asked. I mean, we're already charging less for water than the king does and now we're giving it away for free? I don't see a problem with that, Roger said. Soon we'll have more supporters than the king. Didn't you see how everyone in that group? What I saw was a group of people that wanted free water, Alan said. We've been on the streets long enough not to be tricked by them. Right, brother? Sarah believes in you. I believe in you. Those people don't believe in anything beyond taking advantage of the situation. Maybe that was true, Roger said, until I gave them something to believe in. I showed them that it's possible to use water magic in Windsor. I gave them hope and all of us a better life. Jealousy doesn't look good on you, Alan, especially when you're wearing the shimmering cloak I bought you. That's just it, Alan said as he touched his cloak. We have everything we need now. We have a roof over our heads. We have food and clothing and all the dwarfkin milk we could possibly drink. There is no need for us to be causing waves. So, let's just head back to our place and lie low for a while. Roger narrowed his eyes and turned away from Alan. Walking back to the mob and cast Arquatus, giving everyone free water. The mob
Okay, I'm beginning to understand where like Alan and Roger kind of like start to fall out a bit, I guess.
The mob hoisted him on their shoulders and tossed him in the air. You're our hero, Roger, they cried out in unison. That
I'm
night,
kind of beginning to understand where Roger gets his personality in the playthroughs.
That night, Roger sat at the dinner table lavished with the mountains of food they purchased from the market. Roger slowly chewed his food looking at Alan. You're not eating, Roger said. I'm not hungry. I can't tell that you're angry. Are you a mind reader now too? Sarah looked at them both. Can't you two just apologize to each other? For what? They both said at the same time. We can't afford to be fighting, Sarah said. She lowered her gaze. We're all we've got in this world. I'm not going to apologize to someone who is jealous that I'm meant to do something great in this world, Roger said. I'm not apologizing to a giant airhead whose head got so big that he can't see reality, Alan said. There was a knock on the door. Roger sighed and walked to open the door. Greetings, follower. I'm busy, right? His eyes opened wide as he stared at a guard of Winsohal. You're
That's so funny. Imagine that, greetings follower, and then it's a guard. Oh my god, that would be so embarrassing.
You're under arrest for treason against the kingdom of Winsohal, the guard said as he grabbed Roger's arm. Hey.
I mean, to be fair, Alan did warn him. I mean, poor Roger, hopefully he's okay though, but wow, Alan can like kind of see the future. Not really, but
Hey.
kind of.
What? Roger said. You better let go. I'm the savior of Winsohal. Your savior. Sarah dashed forward and bit the guard's hand that held Roger. You stupid girl, said the guard, grimacing. You're all under arrest. He took hold of Sarah with his other hand. Alan came from the side and stuck a knife into the guard's arm. The guard whelped and panned and let both Roger and Sarah go. Alan grabbed Roger and Sarah's hands and the trio ran for it, carefully weaving through the town, avoiding any guards.
Oh
They
god,
didn't-
please don't get caught, guys.
They didn't
please.
stop until they were near the outskirts of Winsohal. We need to get out of here. Now, Alan said. Where did you get the knife, Alan? Roger asked, pulling his hand away. Alan shook his head. That's what you're worried about? I bought a knife just in case something like that happened. I told you that undercutting the crown would get us noticed. Now they're calling it treason. You didn't need to do that, Roger said. I could have handled it. Alan grabbed onto Roger's shoulders and shook him. Roger, don't you see that we're in danger? We need to run away. And go where? Roger asked as he pushed Alan off of him. My skill is valuable here in Winsohal. If we go anywhere else, do you think people will still be impressed with our Quatos? Here we can be worshipped like we deserve. Or do you want to go back to being beggars again? Alan unclasped his shimmering cloak and threw it to the ground. The lightweight fabric floated and landed gently in the sand. This isn't about you, Roger. You're putting all of us in danger. Then you two go, Roger said. I'll never leave Winsohal, so you both should just go if you don't like what I'm doing. We're sticking together, Sarah said. All we have are each other, remember? Her eyes darted from Roger to Alan. Alan looked at Sarah intensely, then sighed. You're my brother, Roger. I'm not going anywhere. Roger ran his hand through his hair and tapped his feet on the ground. I have a plan, he said. I'm going to talk to the king. You're going to just give yourself up, ellipses, Alan said. Of course not. I'm going to negotiate a deal that will be beneficial for us and for King Regis of Winsohal. If it means we can all stay together, Sarah said. Then I support you, Roger. He nodded and looked at Alan. I don't like it. But do you believe in me, brother? Alan looked at Sarah and then at Roger with his fists balled up. He picked up the cloak from the ground and dusted it off. Of course. I believe in you, brother, he said. Leave it to me and we'll be living in the lap of luxury soon, Roger said.
Aren't you like already living in the lap of luxury?
I'm going to talk to King Regis and work everything out. Just believe it. System message. End of chapter. Vertical scroll bar.
Okay.
Close.
Wait, is that
button.
the end? No, that's the end. That's horrific. Oh my god. Okay, well, okay, so anyway. Okay, but seriously though, that is a very good cliffhanger, can I just say? But also, I mean, okay, first of all, now I can understand kind of how like Roger becomes a prince. I'm assuming the king like adopts him or something. But wasn't he like, I don't know, wasn't he a bit dangerous? I can't remember, but I don't know if that was the best choice, Roger. But maybe in another chapter, you know, we'll understand more. But yeah, okay, so that is
Close. Button.
the end
Close.
of
Close. Button.
all of the chapters. So yeah, that is the end of the memory articles. I'm kind of sad to be finished, but yeah, you never know, I might do some more at some point. But I think for now that this is going to be my last video. So thanks so much for watching all of these, and yeah, I'll talk to you again at some point. Bye.